this is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
Work can be a little weird. Cringy training seminars, coworkers who won't stop talking about their plant, forgetting the mute button at an inopportune moment. We have to deal with a lot on any given workday. Sometimes it can feel hard to thrive and move forward in your career. Well, that's where LinkedIn comes in. LinkedIn helps you get ideas and insights from experts in your field, connect with people professionally, grow your network, and access tools designed to help you find the right fit for your next role. Whether you're just getting started, figuring out your next move, or looking to accelerate your career, LinkedIn is built to support you at every stage because LinkedIn is the network that works for you. Visit linkedin.com/knowstuff to learn more. Hey, and welcome to the podcast. I'm Josh, there's Chuck, Jerry's here, and if you'd never noticed before, we're speaking English. So we're going to talk about the history of the English language because that's the one we use right now.
Yeah, the briefest history, because we certainly could have done like a really robust full episode on this.
Yeah.
But I like the short version, and we want to thank EnglishClub.com and in particular theconversation.com and a professor of lit at the University of Bristol named Ad Putter.
Go Fighting Abbeys.
Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
You got me again. But anyway, Putter wrote a really good article that helped out with this one. But we're talking about the history of the English language briefly because I was just kind of curious, like who were the first people to speak English? And the first English is what you have to talk about first, which is, of course, Old English, which came about right after the Romans left Britain. This is a very long time ago. They colonized Britain, but they were like, things aren't going so great in the Roman Empire, so we're going to leave.
Yeah. So it's just interesting. The Romans spoke Latin, but the Brits spoke Celtic. And then after the Romans left, because their empire was crumbling around them, the Brits still kept speaking Celtic, but not for very long because the Romans had basically been occupying Britain, but they had also been in turn protecting it. But as the Roman Empire crumbled, it left Britain totally vulnerable and open to invasion. And in very short order, that's exactly what happened. 3 Germanic tribes, the Angles, the Saxons, and the Jutes, all basically came down from northern Germany, Denmark area, and said, we own this place now. You guys are going to start speaking like us.
Yeah, they spoke what's called North Sea Germanic. And those Celtic speakers were they ended up where they ended up, which was north and west in what we now call Ireland and Scotland and Wales. So the Angles, which was one of those Germanic tribes, like you've ever heard Anglo-Saxon, that was because they were the Angles and the Saxons and the Jutes. 2 of the 3 of those tribes were the Angles and the Saxons. And once they got to Britain, their language was referred to as what we would call Old English or Anglo-Saxon. Mm-hmm. And it is it's the original form of English, and this was used in the early Middle Ages, but this is not anything that you would recognize as English as we know it today, except for just a few words here and there.
Yeah, like his, he, some of these really, really old words. And remember, he, they think, is possibly like as old as humanity as far as words go. That was already in use. But yeah, it didn't bear much of a resemblance. And so Old English, Chuck, was in use, I think, from about 450 to 1100 CE.
Yeah. And, if the original thing that got me looking for this was if they could pinpoint, like, not necessarily the people, but who the first English speakers were. Mm-hmm. But our friend, Professor Putter here, actually does name a couple of people. And this is sort of as legend goes. But when these Germanic tribes came through, they asked a couple of those leaders, Hengist and Horsa, to come in and help protect the country. And they showed up. And of course, again, this is as the story goes, so we really don't know if it's true or not. But they would have been the ones that brought in this Old English. So technically, you could say that they were maybe the first English speakers as we know it as Old English.
That's so fascinating. Like, if these guys aren't legendary, they are the first English speakers in England or Britain.
Yeah.
So Old English stuck around until the Normans came along. So in 1066, William the Conqueror, the head of the Normans, he was the Duke of Normandy, which is in France today, showed up in England and said, Hengist, Horsa, you guys are a few hundred years old. It's time for you to hand over the reins to me, William the Conqueror. And it just so happened, since he was from what's today part of modern France, he spoke what you would kind of recognize as a type of French. And so the Normans brought French to England. But rather than it becoming totally widespread, it actually became part of what Professor Putter calls a linguistic class division, where the royal court and the upper classes spoke the king's French, and then the lower classes continued to speak Old English.
Yeah. And what's going to happen here, of course, and as we'll see, as England got to conquering for hundreds of years, you pick up on words as you move about the earth. And in this case, a lot of French words were added to what was now known as Middle English.
Do you want to hear one that I guessed was right?
Yeah.
Sausage.
Oh, yeah.
Sausage. Yeah.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about a big change that happened to Middle English pronunciation that linguists are still trying to figure out right after this. Hey, everybody. Here's a fact for you. In the United States, there is a break-in every 26 seconds, and that means that somewhere right now, an intruder is getting closer. And the problem with most security systems is that they only alert you after the break-in has started, and that's too late.
Well, that's what makes SimpliSafe different. They use alerts. SimpliSafe's U.S.-based live agents, they identify threats on your property and help deter them before they actually break in. So the intruder never gets into your house. The crime is stopped before it even starts.
That's right. And another great thing about SimpliSafe is they have no long-term contracts. They give you peace of mind and great value with their monitoring deterrence plans because they just start at about $1 a day.
Yeah, SimpliSafe sent us a setup years back, and I still use mine every day.
Yeah, and apparently setup, you can do it by yourself in under 30 minutes, so it's a really good value and it doesn't take long.
So if you want to experience the SimpliSafe peace of mind, you can take advantage of the SimpliSafe discount offered to Stuff You Should Know listeners. Right now, you can get 50% off your new system by visiting simplisafe.com/stuff. That's half off at simplisafe.com/stuff. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
Work can be a little weird. One minute you're in a meeting that could have been an email. The next you're trying to decode corporate jargon that somehow means nothing. And don't even get us started on the quick sync that turns into a 45-minute deep dive.
Yeah, well, the truth is figuring out your career isn't always straightforward. Whether you're trying to grow, pivot, or just stay relevant, it can feel like you're navigating it all on your own. Well, that's where LinkedIn comes in.
That's right. LinkedIn can help you grow your career, helping you confidently navigate your path with insights, ideas, and inspiration from your professional community. You can stay up to date with the latest trends in your field, connect with people who get it, and discover opportunities tailored to your goals, your experience, and what actually matters to you.
Whether you're looking for something new or just trying to grow where you are, LinkedIn gives you the tools and connections to move forward with confidence. Because LinkedIn is the network that works for you. Visit linkedin.com/knowstuff to learn more.
So this is like if you've ever read Chaucer, which I did in college, like the Canterbury Tales. This is, I thought like we read Old English some in college, but there's no way because when I saw examples of Old English, it's not even decipherable, hardly. What I was reading was Middle English, and that's what Chaucer was. And that was, that's a challenge as well.
Yeah.
But it definitely wasn't Old English. And actually toward the latter part of Middle English is when something called the Great Vowel Shift happened, which basically shortened vowel sounds like a lot. And it happened pretty quickly, apparently.
Yeah, they used to say for sheep, they would say shape.
Oh, I thought you were going to say they said sheep.
No. And I didn't understand how he said that it's shortened from shape to sheep. Sheep sounds like it's longer than shape. But there was a huge change in vowel pronunciation in English around this time. And from what I saw, they're totally baffled as to why this happened.
Yeah, it's
they
really
just know
interesting.
that it did around this time. And that actually contributed to another huge change in the English language, at least spoken English, with this huge, great vowel shift.
Yeah, and then from there, the changes were much more subtle. It was, like I said, England was conquering from all over the world, so little words got added here and there. Printing was a thing now, so they were like, we need to kind of standardize everything because people are reading for the first time, and books are kind of cheap, and they're more available. So the dialect of London, which is where the printing industry was, sort of lodged at first, became the dialect of the English language and the basis of the first English dictionary. This is what we would call basically early modern English. And it's the English as we know it. The difference between early modern and late modern is just a lot more words, because as the world evolved and technology evolved and things like that, you just needed more words.
Well, plus also the Brits were pretty firmly in charge of the world for a while. And they picked up a lot of words from different corners of the British Empire. So, for example, the word bandana comes from India. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
That's considered an English word, even though it wasn't originally an English word. It just got absorbed into the English language, and it became a further addition to the late modern English vocabulary.
When you look at the word, though, it totally looks like an Indian word.
Yeah. It totally
Bandana
does.
was probably, I imagine the A was changed, right?
Yeah, and there's probably a Y in there somewhere that really
Great
kinda
vowel shift.
juiced it up.
One more person we should shout out, though, and this was I just thought was sort of an interesting addendum that Dr. Putter had found, was kind of shouting out the first poet as far as English poet, and this was someone named Caedmon, Caedmon.
Hail Caedmon.
And there was a historian monk named Bede. I don't know if that's Bede or...
It's just Beatty.
Oh, it is Bede?
Isn't that cute?
That's so cute. But I think Bede is the one who committed Caedmon's story to history, which is pretty great, because Caedmon was someone who was illiterate, basically, and as the story goes, got this gift of poetry from God, and was the first English poet as we know it, which means it's Old English, which means looking at these words is impossible. It looks like someone was typing and passed out or something.
It does. You gonna take a shot at it?
I mean, I'll try.
Okay.
These are the first lines of a poem, which translated would mean, now we must praise the guardian of the heavenly kingdom, the ruler's might and his plan. But as written in Old English as a poem, it was new, as in you, nu skulon hirion Hieophanrus's weird methodis mit and his, I got that part, and his Majapunk.
So, yeah, Maj, is it that weird B? Is that, how do you pronounce the B?
I don't even know. It's the thing it's like, am I a B or am I a P? I can't decide, so
I'll be both for Halloween.
I'll write it so it's confusing. I'm not sure what that even is.
But Maj, we'll say bonk. Maj bonk means plan in
Oh,
Old English. So from now on, I'm going to say, don't worry, I have a Maj bonk.
I hope you remember that. I want to say Majbank from now on the show.
All right, we'll try to remember.
All right. So that's the Majbank. That's what we're going to do.
It is, that's right.
Okay,
I think
perfect.
you just cemented it. But it is interesting to say that and his were both, I mean, this is 1,000 or almost 2,000 years ago that this guy wrote this, and you can look at it and say, oh, I noticed those two at least, and his.
Yeah.
I don't know what the rest says, but and his is in there.
Right.
So that was it. And we take our hats off to Professor Putter and the University of Bristol, whose mascot I still could not find, even though I kind of looked it up while we were recording.
Do you have mascots if you don't have sports teams?
Yeah, I think just to kind of create general goodwill among the student population. That's the real function of a mascot.
I just didn't know if that was an American thing or what.
I don't know. We'll find out. If you go to University of Bristol or even just know what their mascot is, write in and let us know, okay?
All right. Good Majbank.
Yeah. Short Stuff is out.
Stuff You Should Know is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.